Thank you very much, Presiding Officer. And let me start by encouraging Dean Lockhart to walk a couple of hundred metres up the Canongate, cross the road, go into the Canongate Kirkyard in the northwest corner. He'll find Adam Smith's grave. I suggest he reads what it says on it. But I'll just leave that for him for another day. Now, Presiding Officer, one of the things in the Tory amendment is about business startups. And so I had a quick look at one aspect of that by looking at the Companies House figures. And lo and behold, the quarterly figures, because the figures are published quarterly, show that the increase in registered companies in Scotland is going at about 4.06% per quarter. Guess what the figure is in England and Wales? 4.06% per quarter. So that's very similar. Now, I accept that the base is smaller in Scotland. I really am going to have time. Do forgive me. So I accept the base is smaller, and there are all sorts of reasons which I can't, in the time available, develop here. I do want to say a little bit about taxation, because, again, the Conservatives are focusing on that. The key thing that helps start businesses is that when you start, you have a tax-friendly regime. And the small business bonus is hardly a disincentive to small businesses. And it isn't replicated anywhere else in these islands. So I think this government has done absolutely extraordinarily well. And of course, by taking away student tuition fees, we're making sure the next generation is equipped to do the sort of things that we need to. I'm not going to, sorry, just for time. I'm halfway through already, so do forgive me. I'm sure it would be worth listening to, but I just don't have time. Now, we're supporting, of course, entrepreneurs, and we're supporting innovation, because the two are bedfellows. This debate focuses on entrepreneurship. And I think one of the things we've got to be conscious of is that when we support startups and new businesses and new ideas, not everyone we support will ultimately be successful. And one of the things I would want to know, which I found rather difficult to find, is what the failure rates are. Because if they're too low, we're being too unambitious in the way we support companies. In banking, which I worked as a technologist in, if a bank branch had no bad debt, the manager was instantly taken out of position because he was not being ambitious enough in his lending. If he had too much bad debt, he was also taken out and hung, drawn and quartered. So there is a balance to reach. But do recognise that there is risk associated with entrepreneurship. There's some outstanding examples, and I choose Gillian Martin and my constituency experience as one. In Fraserburgh, 10 years ago, 2 lads started Brewdog. 2 people, under the age of 30. Today, they've had to move to get a bigger site in Gillian Martin's constituency in Ellen. That company is worth over £1 billion. And I very much welcome the fact that they're going to be supporting the BIDS initiative in Peterhead by bringing a Brewdog bar to Peterhead's main streets. That's absolutely terrific. I also think, in my very few seconds that I've got left, Presiding Officer, we need to also think about how we support entrepreneurs. In other words, entrepreneurs inside big companies. Best initiative we had at the Bank of Scotland was when Bruce Pitallo, in the early 1980s, said our objective is to double the size of the bank in 10 years. That was the single objective. Everybody in the organisation knew it. We did it in 7. Keep it simple. It works.